Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's the Sports Historian with another video, and I do apologize. Life be lifing, as y'all all know, because life be lifing all of us. But we have so much going on in the world of sports. First and foremost, major congratulations to Bam Adebayo. That's still crazy. Man dropped 83 points against the Wizards and set not only a Heat franchise record, but also the second most points scored in an NBA game, and the most these eyes have actually seen you know, shout out to Wilt though. But not only that, since we last convened, congratulations to the men's and women's U.S. hockey teams for winning gold at the Olympics, both on golden goals. We've got March Madness about to kick off. Tournaments are going to be kicking off. The St. Louis Blues are on a heater as of this recording. They've won five of their first six coming out of the Olympic break. And also, shout out to the Buffalo Sabres, hottest team in hockey. You gotta love it. They're absolutely about to end their 15-year playoff drought. But baseball season is on the way. World Baseball Classic is going on right now as we speak, and with that being said, as we're getting closer and closer to the start of the regular season, let's check out a top 10 here. And it's from one of my favorite channels. Shout out to Hum Baby Baseball. And this is his top 10 worst Major League Baseball umpires of the last 40 years. Oh boy. Before we get into this, let me just say if you're a good umpire, no one should ever know your name. Genuinely should not know your name. You should be as anonymous as anybody on the baseball field that is not a part of the game. Once you become a part of the game, that's when people tend to have problems. And before we even get into this video, I already know at least three names that are going to be on this list already. But we're going to check this out. Drop in the comments section below who your favorite MLB team is and who is winning the World Series this year. And also subscribe to Hum Baby Baseball. He's got a ton of great content. Let's go ahead and get into this thing. Like, comment, subscribe, and as Trick Willie would say, let's talk about it.
What you're hired for is to help us. Does that seem clear to you? To help us, not to fuck us up.
I'm baby. Enjoy this great game.
Welcome back to another Hum Baby Countdown, and today it's time to talk about a topic near but not always so dear to every baseball fan. Terrible MLB umpires. They say the best umps are the ones you never know.
Wait, no way that was called a ball. That was 97 letter high, right down the middle. Listen, I'm in a good mood today. I don't want this video to piss me off. I really don't.
And if that's the case, the umpires on today's list are among the worst of all time. They all have recognizable names and didn't just miss a call here or there. These are umps whose arrogance, incompetence, short fuses, and drive to be the center of attention led them to become infamous among baseball fandom. And to make matters worse, the umpires union is seemingly more powerful than even the players union. As once an umpire reaches the majors on a permanent status, they are immune to firing or even demotion to AAA, no matter how abysmal their performance. This is likely a major cause for the new ABS system, which debuts this season, meaning
See, I've always had an issue, and this is not just in Major League Baseball, but this is in all sports, where officials do not have to answer questions from the media after games for egregious calls or any type of circumstances. That's always been a big issue with me, is no accountability. And because I'm union protected, I'm right no matter what. I have never liked that.
maybe moving forward, the bad umpires won't stand out as much. So this is the perfect time for today's ranking. And for each entry, I'll give multiple examples of some of their most awful moments and why they made the list. This is just my personal worst 10, and fans from different eras will definitely have alternate lists, so drop in your examples in the comments. I'm sure there were some awful umps from the early days of the game, but without modern tracking and HD video, it's hard to say for sure who they were. So without further ado, let's get into 10 of the worst MLB umpires to ever put on a chest protector. Number 10, Eric Gregg.
Oh no. See, he was one of the three. He was one of the three. I already know which game that he's going to talk about. Man, listen. There where he's likely going to show game 5 of the 97 NLCS Marlins Braves. It's when you're an umpire or an official and you have a game named after you, it's egregiously bad. You're going to see the huge problem here.
To start off the list, we have a famous umpire from the 80s and 90s who was well liked for his colorful personality and sense of humor. Unfortunately, as an umpire, he was insanely pitcher friendly, sometimes to the point of absolute insanity. And there's no more obvious example of this than the 1997 NLCS, during what became known as the Eric Gregg game. He expanded the 17-inch plate to about 3 feet.
Bro, what are we looking at here? This is literally an entire second strike zone, damn near in the right-handed batter's box. Now, for context, the Braves at this time employed a left-handed heavy lineup, and that's Hall of Famer Fred McGriff. But dude was calling everything way out here for strikes. It was insane, and hopefully we see one particular at bat. I believe it's in the eighth with McGriff, and it's so bad.
Feet wide, gift wrapping a 15 strikeout performance to Livan Hernandez of the Marlins. Fred
Yep,
McGriff
this is it. Watch this.
was rung up on a pitch to end that game that was so far outside it didn't even register on the broadcast strike zone graphic. His performance was so awful that
And not even that, Livan Hernandez was not a strikeout artist. He was a big, innings eater who was a ground ball pitcher. So the fact that he struck out 15 with that strike zone is insanity.
game alone might have propelled him into the top 10, and he was never allowed to work another postseason game again. But Gregg also had a quick hook with 81 career ejections and frequently butted heads with managers. After participating in the failed mass resignation of 1999, a botched leverage play by the umpires union, Gregg found himself effectively blackballed. Even after the labor dispute was resolved, he was one of the few veteran umpires that the league refused to hire back, ending his career on a bitter note. Number 9, Hunter Wendelstedt. Hunter's father, Harry Wendelstedt, was a respected fixture in the game for over 30 years, building a reputation as a fair but firm umpire, with a rare ability to admit when he was wrong. Hunter Wendelstedt followed in his father's footsteps as far as the profession, but not much else. He's considered one of the most...
Oh, this was the dude who threw out Aaron Boone for no reason.
confrontational umpires in the league, consistently ranking towards the top in ejections, willing to kick
That's not a
anyone out of the
strike.
game who questions his authority. And nothing summarizes this better than his infamous 2024 ejection of Aaron Boone. In an April game at Yankee Stadium, Wendelstedt warned Boone after a heated exchange.
Got anything else to say? You're gone.
Moments later, a fan seated directly behind the dugout shouted something at the plate.
That's right. He mistook what the fan said as something Boone said and then threw him out. And then he said, I don't care. That's crazy. He admitted, I don't care if it was a fan or not. It's in your direction. You're gone. He was looking for a reason. See, some of these motherfuckers are bullies.
And that was good enough for Hunter, who immediately ejected Boone, despite the fact that he was chilling in the dugout, checking out his fingernails. When Boone tried to explain that he didn't say a word and it was a fan, Wendelstedt had the expected response, I don't care who said it. Beyond his quick ejection trigger, Wendelstedt is frequently cited for low accuracy behind the plate, heavily favoring pitchers, and is ranked as having the 6th worst average for balls and strikes over the past 2 years. Number 8, Rob Drake. Next up, we come to Rob Drake, who would be number 1 if I was being completely biased after a 2020 Giants game that we'll talk about momentarily.
He knew those balls were out of the strike zone. If he didn't, well, he has no business being an umpire because he has an obvious eye disorder. Something is wrong with his sight if he thought those were strikes.
In truth, he's not as bad as some of the next few we'll talk about, but Drake is definitely not a good umpire. Off the field, he made national headlines in 2019 when he tweeted a threat to buy an AR-15 and start a civil war, spelled Civil War.
Well, him not being able to spell and that go hand in hand.
Then President Trump were impeached. I don't really care about his personal politics, and I can forgive
I don't
an
either.
insane, unhinged tweet threatening civil war, if not for his horrific performance on the field, especially during the 2020 season finale between the Giants and Padres, a game the Giants needed to clinch a playoff berth. Drake missed a staggering 27 calls, including multiple egregious strike 3 calls on Mauricio Dubon and Austin Slater. Here's the strike call that ended the Giants season, and it was not even close.
Whoa! Whoa! Are we dead ass? That's not even close. Imagine your season ending like that. And in front of no fans.
I suspected Drake's calls were fueled by a bias against San Francisco, which of course is known as a liberal city, a theory that felt plausible looking at his insane tweet. But looking back, I can't be certain of his motives. The one thing that I know is Drake was absolutely abysmal that night, and it wasn't his only bad performance. He's consistently ranked among the worst MLB umpires for ball strike accuracy and game management. As recently as 2024, he was ranked 88th out of 90 umpires, having missed 385 calls that season.
Damn.
He also loves to eject people and was named in a 2010 survey of MLB players as the umpire with the second quickest ejection trigger in the league, only trailing Joe West, who we'll definitely talk about later.
Oh yeah, he's
Number
on here.
7, Doug Eddings. When Hall of Famer Chipper Jones calls you one of the worst umpires in the league for the past 20 years, there has to be something seriously wrong. Throughout his career, Eddings has combined a lack of technical consistency with a confrontational attitude. Like Chipper says, a toxic combination. While most bad umpires have a strike zone way too wide or sometimes too tight, Eddings has a zone that is absolutely unpredictable from pitch to pitch. It can swing from extremely pitcher-friendly to microscopic in the same inning. In a 2022 White Sox Blue Jays game, he recorded a staggering 64% strike accuracy, missing 29 calls in a single night. In the 2025 ALCS, he called one of the worst postseason games ever, leaving both dugouts visibly irate. He was also the umpire during the famous 2005 ALCS Game 2 dropped third strike fiasco when, with 2 outs in the ninth, A.J. Pierzynski swung and missed at a pitch that was clearly cleanly caught by the catcher Josh Paul.
That's game over. Ball didn't touch the ground. That's game over. That's clear strike 3.
Pierzynski gave it a shot anyway and started running to first base, and Eddings allowed it, calling him safe. The White Sox went on to walk it off. Eddings probably should have won the ALCS MVP award. He continues to umpire games today at the big league level, despite the fact that he's clearly not up for the job. But because umpires can't be demoted, can't be released, and are basically guaranteed their job for life, we still have to deal with it. Number 6, Bob Davidson.
Balkan Bob Davidson. One of my favorites. This man lived to call balks. Jeez. Which, by the way, comment down below if you know what the true rule on what a balk is or not. Some of us still don't know to this day.
When you're so notoriously bad as an umpire that you get a nickname, you know things are bad. Bob Davidson, aka Balkan Bob or Balk-a-Day Bob, was ranked as the 4th worst umpire in baseball in a 2011 Sports Illustrated player poll, with many citing his famous rabbit ears, which listened to any chatter from the dugouts so he could initiate a confrontation. Davidson was one of the rare officials actually suspended by MLB for repeated violations of the Office of the Commissioner Standards for situation handling. The league made the move in 2012 after a profanity-laced blowout with Phillies manager Charlie Manuel. Davidson loved to be the center of attention, and it often felt like he was as much a part of the show as the players, and he ejected hundreds of players, coaches, managers, fans, and even a mascot. His sheer combat...
Oh, he's the one that had Yuppie ejected. So, story... This is Yuppie, beloved mascot. He is now the mascot of the Montreal Canadiens, formerly the mascot of the Montreal Expos. And clearly he's taking a nap on top of the Dodgers dugout, which annoyed Tommy Lasorda, noted irritant. And now I know how he got ejected. Bob Davidson ejected a fucking mascot. What a jackass. Come on, dude.
High ejection rate, and horrible strike zone was only topped by his propensity to call balks, hence the nickname. Bob loved to call balks, even if no one had any clue what the pitcher did wrong. Davidson's technical record is a highlight reel of head scratchers. In the 2006 World Baseball Classic, he sparked international outrage by overturning a correct call to rule a Mexico home run as a double, even after players tried to show him the yellow paint on the ball from the foul pole. And he also screwed Japan by ruling that a runner left early on a sac fly, even though replay shows that the player definitely tagged them. Despite all of this, he was allowed to be an MLB umpire for over 20 years. No wonder we need a replay and ABS system.
Did he just toss a fan out of the game? He is actually going to eject a fan.
Get the fuck out of here.
Saw that happen.
Number 5, C.B. Buckner.
Ooh.
C.B. Buckner has been an MLB umpire for over 25 years. He has never been chosen to work a World Series or even LCS game. He was scheduled to work the ALCS in 2009, but after his horrific performance in the ALDS, he was pulled. Buckner is widely known as one of the least accurate and most inconsistent umpires in the game, with statistical rankings and player polls frequently placing him towards the bottom of the league. One particular poll had 42% of players voting Buckner as the worst umpire in the league. Over the past 2 seasons, he has held the lowest accuracy rate in MLB among umpires, with at least 20 games behind the plate. During one game in June of 2025 between the Reds and Cardinals, he missed a season-high 28 calls. His strike zone is simply all over.
That is legitimately 3 calls an inning. Bro, that's insane.
Over the place. Usually extremely friendly to the pitcher, but oftentimes he'll call balls on pitches clearly in the zone. One of his most ridiculous calls didn't end up affecting the outcome, but let's take a look anyway. April 18th, 2017. Chase Darno swings and misses for strike 3. He doesn't even come close to touching the ball, and ended the game between the Braves and the Nationals. The players were out on the field giving their high fives. Lawnmowers were on the field. The grounds crew was starting to do their thing. Fans were heading for the egg.
Wait a minute, but didn't that ball hit the ground first? They should have ran that out. Am I tripping?
The game was over. Then Buckner decided, no, actually, that was a foul tip. The grounds crew had to
he didn't even touch the ball. Oh my God. Strike what I just said. Holy crap. He reversed a correct call. This dude, man. Wow. I've never seen this one.
Treat. The players had to take their places back on the field and finish the at-bat. Number 4, Laz Diaz.
Yep.
Just slightly worse than Buckner is Laz Diaz, a veteran umpire who broke into the big leagues in the late 90s. Diaz has cultivated a reputation for being one of the most erratic and confrontational umpires in the game. He began his baseball career as a player and hit 190 in the low minor leagues with the Twins organization. He had 91 at-bats with my hometown Visalia Oaks in 1984, and I probably watched him play. I wish that was my memory of him instead of his awful umpiring over the past 25 years. He doesn't just miss calls, he misses them by significant margins, frequently ranking in the bottom percentiles for strike zone accuracy. Last season, he had the worst call in the history of the famous Umpire Auditor Project, calling a strike on a pitch nearly 7 inches off the plate. But it's also his perceived ump show personality that makes him so unlikable as an umpire. He's combative with players and coaches, once denying catcher Russell Martin the right to throw the ball back to his own pitcher. Martin said, "I even told him when there's a guy's on base, I like to keep my arm loose." And Laz said, "I'm not letting you throw a ball back."
He said that it was a privilege that I had to earn for me to throw the ball back. He's the catcher. What? What is he supposed to go around the horn, throw it to third, and then they circle back? Are you? All right, bro.
You have to earn that privilege. It was Martin's opinion that Diaz was holding a grudge after they argued over balls and strikes earlier in the game. Number 3, Phil Cuzzi.
I'm not familiar
Cuzzi
with
is
him.
Another fascinating case in MLB longevity versus performance, and proof that unlike players, you don't have to be good to stick in the big leagues if you're an umpire. Cuzzi became the oldest umpire in MLB history last season at the age of 70, but he was bad long before he reached senior citizen status. He was actually fired from AAA in 1993 for failing to impress, and he spent years bartending and substitute teaching and only made it back to the majors after a chance encounter with the National League president at a hotel bar. Since his return,
Wow.
he has become known for throwing tantrums when his calls are questioned and refusing to ask for help from other umpires.
That is absolutely not a strike. Jesus.
Sometimes even forgets the count, such as one incident in 2011 when after a third ball, he awarded the batter first base for a walk. His blown calls have...
What? On ball 3. Ball 3 is a walk? Maybe I'm watching the wrong baseball, yo. I don't know about y'all, but maybe we're wrong here.
made him a villain to multiple fan bases. In 2010, he cost the Giants a game against the Mets, calling Travis Ishikawa out on a play at home where he was clearly safe and it would have been the game-winning run. Fortunately, the Giants won the division anyway, but an even more egregious call has to be the fair ball called foul by Joe Mauer during a 3-3 tied game of the 2009 ALDS, cause he had a perfect view of it, and he was even in the outfield because he was the left field umpire.
No, what?
Giving the Yankees a massive break.
I wonder if that's the same game Raul Ibanez walked off the Twins. And yeah, Jeffrey Mayer, anyone? If you know, you know, and if you don't, I'll do a video about fans in the stands.
What else is new? The Yankees went on to walk it off in the bottom of the ninth and, of course, won the series because he finally retired after the 2025 season. Number 2, Joe West. If there was a Mount Rushmore for umpires who love the spotlight, Joe West would take up 3 of the 4 spots. Known as Cowboy Joe, West retired in 2021 as the all-time leader in games umpired with 5,460 games. But his legacy is defined less by his longevity and more by his insistence on being the main character of every game he called. He was only happy when he was the center of attention. But not only did West have a huge ego, his strike zones were wildly inconsistent, and he had a very confrontational style. A pitcher can't even yell in frustration briefly without West noticing and engaging in a long stare down. Check out this moment between Joe West and Madison Bumgarner.
Stank eye going at each other all game long.
Come on, dude, you don't play. Talk about main character syndrome. You don't play, and also you're gonna tell that guy in his prime what he can and can't do on the mound. I'm not about to go tell Mad Bum what's up.
Well, Joe West is not going back behind the catcher. So what is he doing? He wants to throw him out or what?
He was suspended at least twice, once for calling Adrian Beltre the biggest complainer in baseball, and once for grabbing Jonathan Papelbon's jersey. His ego was so out of control, West even ejected 2 TV cameramen in 1984.
Bro, what the fuck? Like, especially with the ball players, they will beat your ass. But you're ejecting cameramen?
For showing a replay of his own blown call. A player poll in 2010 had West as the umpire with the quickest ejection trigger, and a 2011 poll had him as the worst overall umpire, with 41% of players naming West as the absolute worst in baseball. Over his last 11 years in the league, West averaged 21 incorrect calls per game, 2.3 bad calls per inning, a horrible rate. But he was allowed to keep umpiring.
Nah. Oh, come on. Yeah, we knew it. We knew who this was. I was waiting on this. Fucking
Angel Hernandez. But absolutely no other umpire even comes close to the infamous anti-legend, an all-time baseball villain, the one and only Angel Hernandez. So here's a Wyatt Langford at bat as an example of what you might see in an Angel Hernandez officiated game.
Whoa. 2-1.
angel. Fuck no.
2-2. You have got to be kidding me.
Listen, at that point, we got to run. I got to meet you in the parking lot after that. And this is the same guy who had the nerve to file a lawsuit against a discrimination lawsuit against Major League Baseball, claiming that he was not allowed to call a World Series because of his ethnic background. No, you literally are ass at your job, but unfortunately we can't fire you because you're union protected. He had the nerve to call racial discrimination for him being terrible at his job.
For 3 decades, Hernandez gave a masterclass in pure incompetence and an unadulterated ego. I first heard of Hernandez in the mid-90s when he was already building a reputation as an umpire with an unpredictable strike zone and quick ejection trigger. By the 2000s, hardcore fans knew that when he was behind the plate, it was going to be a long night. But it was in 2013 that Angel Hernandez became a household name even for casual fans when he refused to overturn an obvious home run by Adam Rosado. At the time, the umpires themselves, not the central replay hub, conducted the reviews. Hernandez initially ruled that the ball had not cleared the wall, an understandable mistake from his original angle, and the ensuing replay gave him the perfect opportunity to correct the record.
It hit that rail right there. It's over the wall. It's a homer. And this is the 9th inning, and Oakland's down. I think they lost this game because of this call.
But for Hernandez, admitting a mistake was an impossible hurdle. Despite viewing the play in high definition and close-up detail that showed the ball clearly striking a railing above the yellow line, he emerged from the dugout to uphold his original incorrect call. From that point on, fans took notice of just how awful this umpire was. In the 2018 ALDS, he had 3 calls overturned by replay in the first 4 innings, leading Pedro Martinez to remark, "Angel was horrible. MLB should do something about it. It's a disgrace to the game." Hernandez was so bad, MLB refused to allow him to call a World Series game, leading the tone-deaf umpire to sue MLB, alleging race.
First and foremost, rest in peace, Mongo. This is a classic moment. So I think what year was this? 2002, I want to say. The Cubs are playing the Rockies, and famously at Wrigley, the way they do their 7th inning stretch, local or celebrity comes and sings "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Mongo is Chicago through and through, and he don't give a damn. And he's the kind of guy that would dare you to want to try something with him. And he said, "I wish that somebody would do something about that home plate umpire." And you can see Angel mouth, "You son of a bitch." And if I recall, he had Mongo, who is now in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He is a Bears legend. He is Chicago. Had him ejected from Wrigley Field because his feelings got hurt. What a bitch-made man.
Discrimination, but the data proved beyond any doubt he just wasn't good enough, and a federal judge agreed. Ultimately, Angel Hernandez represented the perfect storm.
Oh, this right here and also gotta give love to John Boy. The John Boy lip reading of this is hilarious. When he called out Kyle Schwarber on this very clear not third strike you're about to see if you've never seen this. Also, go check out the lip reading from John Boy Media. It is so funny.
A mix of a massive ego, a combative nature, a stubborn refusal to ever admit he was wrong, and flat-out incompetence. He was so bad, MLB had to get rid of him, but couldn't because of the umpires union, so they just paid him off to go away in 2024.
Just leave. Leave quietly. Leave now.
And that's going to do it for today's video on 10 of the worst umpires to ever do it. Put your thoughts in that comment section down below, and I know there's a lot more bad umpires. It feels like there's more bad umpires than good umpires, and that's just my opinion. I understand MLB and training and minor leagues and should be the best of the best, but when you can't get fired and you can't get demoted, by definition, it can't be a group of the best of the best. It would be the same thing if players were never allowed to be demoted, never allowed to be released, and were allowed to do it until they were 70 years old. I'm sure that would be a league we'd love to watch. But thank you guys so much for checking out the video. Put your thoughts in that comment section down below. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and we'll talk to y'all in the next one.
Hey, man, listen. Umpires need to remember, you are not the star of the show. People don't spend their hard-earned dollar to see you. They are there to root for their team and see the best players on said team. You are not pitching. You are not hitting. You don't wear a glove. Now, Joe West always pissed me off because he literally had main character syndrome and thought that his shit didn't stink. Angel, the nerve of you to actually file a civil lawsuit saying, "Well, I don't think they're gonna let me do World Series because of the fact that I'm Hispanic." No, you fucking suck at your job. The nerve of him. But again, shout out to Hum Baby Baseball. Subscribe to his channel. We'll go ahead and give this one a like because that was absolutely excellent. It was a lot of fun. There's so much going on in the world of sports, but I am so ready for baseball season to get started again. Let's talk about it in the comments section below. Comment down below your team, your most noted umpire moments that you remember, and who do you think is going to win the 2026 World Series. Until then, it's your boy K Rob, aka Sports Historian, and I will see you in the next one.